dealing with communications at the Detroit VA Medical Center. And we're here at the newest gym along Woodward in Detroit, Michigan, the Fisher House Detroit.
Hi, Bill. Welcome to the Detroit Fisher House. How are you? Come on in. Welcome. This is the Detroit Fisher House, the 99th Fisher House that has been built in the United States and in Germany and the UK.
This is absolutely beautiful.
It is. This is the entryway. This is what we want our customers to see when they come in. The Fishers started this. Zachary and Elizabeth Fisher started this in the early 1990s, and the whole concept was that they were opening the doors of their own home to the guests of to their guests who were the family members and caregivers of our veterans and active duty service members.
Oh, that's terrific.
So this is designed after their home, and it's meant to be a home away from home for our veterans and their families.
Well, it is like I said, it's absolutely beautiful. You got a few minutes to take me around?
Absolutely, yes, sir.
What do we got here? What's this?
This is the dining room. So it's purposefully communal. We only allow our guests to eat in two spots in the house, and that would be here in the dining room and in the kitchen. You'll notice there's no television here because we want our guests to talk to each other while they eat. There's two things that all of our guests will have in common when they walk through these doors. First of all, they're going to be attached to the military in one way, shape, or form, right? And the second is that they have a loved one in the hospital receiving medical care. So this space provides them an opportunity to talk to each other and eat and have community, and heal. And that's where the healing begins.
I noticed that you have some artwork around the house, and it's, a little bit more in tune to what is around the area, Detroit. So you can talk a little bit more about that?
Yes, sir. So the Fisher House Foundation has a photographer that flies into the state and will take pictures specifically for the house. So I did mention that the house is built in kind of after the Fisher's house, but each house, each home is uniquely decorated, and it's decorated to the area that they're located in. So all of this artwork is original to the house. He took it, and it's from all over the state of Michigan. You're going to see some all the way from Marquette to here in Detroit pictures.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
Let's take a little step in here.
Yeah, come on into the kitchen. This is the heart of the house. This is where all of the magic is going to happen. And this is where I'm going to introduce you to Kate Melcher, the board of directors for Fisher House, Michigan.
Thank you so much for having us here today. I'm so proud to represent the community that helped build this beautiful house. This house was built with all private gifts and grants, and it was from Detroiters and Michiganders, and it's just absolutely stunning and something that is truly worthy of our men and women in uniform. But we were so excited to partner with Fisher House Foundation when the foundation gifted you the keys. But that doesn't mean that our partnership stops. So at Fisher House, Michigan, we're going to continue our pledge to help to support every guest that comes through your doors. We've had a lot of good practice doing it in Ann Arbor for over 10,000 guests. And so we've started to learn what a Fisher House needs, and we want to continue our mission here supporting you and your staff as you greet every single guest that comes in here to support their veteran that is wounded, ill, or injured.
Absolutely, and you already have, so we really greatly appreciate your support.
So Kate, you didn't say Fisher House Ann Arbor, you didn't say Fisher House Detroit, you said Fisher House Michigan. Talk a little bit about that.
Absolutely. Our board of directors has big vision. They're a group in Ann Arbor, so our formal address is Ann Arbor, but our board has grown, and we have a board of directors that has Detroiters, it has folks from Grand Rapids, we've got advisors from the UP. We want to make sure that every single veteran in the state of Michigan and their caregivers and their family members know that this beautiful resource exists. They should be able to access the world-class health care that they can get here at the Dingle VA with their family by their side.
So folks, if they want to help, how do they get in touch with you? How do they reach out?
Oh, there's so many different ways, but you can start at fisherhousemichigan.org. There's a page in there that says ways to give, and there are so many ways. Of course, financial gifts are appreciated, but there's opportunities to volunteer. You see this beautiful kitchen here. When a family has to stay in a Fisher House, it's usually not their best day. And the last thing they want to think about is what's for dinner. So we asked the community to sign up for our meal train. And so you can either come here and use the kitchen to prepare a meal or make it potluck with friends from your Rotary or from your church. But we want the community to come in and love on the families that are staying here, and a home-cooked meal is a wonderful way to do that. But FisherHouseMichigan.org/give is a wonderful place to start for a ton of ideas for how to stay involved.
And we also have volunteer opportunities through the VA. So I will be looking for regular volunteers to come into the house, maybe one day a week for a few hours to do things like prepare the kitchen for our meal train, to go grocery shopping. We also have guest relation volunteer opportunities that can help with check-in and check-outs of our guests. And of course, we have beautiful landscaping and outside greenery common space for our guests to use, and we could use volunteers to help keep that up as well. So there's opportunities to volunteer through the VA and through Fisher House Michigan.
And you can contact the VA directly or through our website. We actually have a page specifically for this Fisher House. There's a page for Fisher House Detroit and a page for Fisher House Ann Arbor, and there's links to volunteer directly like Pamela suggested. So we're a one-stop shop. We want to make it easy for the VA to care for all the guests that stay here.
So I know Fisher House Michigan works closely with the Fisher House Foundation, and I'm looking around the quality of the things that are in here. This is not second fiddle here. This is stuff that's top notch, and they do this for all their homes. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Of course, Zachary and Elizabeth Fisher, this was their mission that they started. And, when they realized that there was a need, that, there were military families staying in their cars because they couldn't afford a hotel near Bethesda Naval Hospital in DC. The Fishers wanted to do something, and they could have written a check and they could have had the Department of Defense build something. It probably would have been a barracks building with fancy curtains. But it was important for the Fishers to have something that was worthy of our men and women in uniform. Zach was a builder. He got an architect. He partnered with a brilliant interior designer. Everything in here is intentional. The colors are peaceful and they are warm. This home is inviting. I don't say house, I don't say facility, I say home. The Fisher House truly is a home away from home. The average length of stay is between 5 and 7 days, but there have been families that spend months and even years here. So Fisher House needs to be a home, and through our partnership, Fisher House Michigan, Fisher House Foundation, and the VA, we make sure that whether it's the first guest or the 1,000th guest or the 10,000th that just stayed in Ann Arbor, that they all have that beautiful experience of warmth and fellowship and community.
That's remarkable. Your work is incredible too. We certainly appreciate that. We're going to take a little bit more walk around the house, and we'll come back and talk in a few minutes after that.
That sounds great.
Right.
Okay, in this kitchen you're going to see we have 3 refrigerators and we have 2 freezers. And in each of these refrigerators we will have bins for our guests for each room where they can store their individual items. However, other shelves will be stocked completely through generous donations in Fisher House, Michigan. So these refrigerators will be full of items for our families to have while they're here staying with us. One of Fisher House Michigan's goals is to ensure that any guest that walks through a Fisher House in Michigan doesn't want for anything while they're staying with us in the Fisher House. So they'll provide through donations all of the food, and this kitchen will be full of love. Also, you will see, I'm going to go this way, underneath each room, guest room will be assigned a cubby. So if we don't have particular items that they want, they'll be able to store that in here as well. So they'll have private space, but there's also going to be a lot of community space as well. And this is the second floor. We just walked up the stairs. And we have 8 rooms on this floor. The house has 16 guest suites with private room, private bath. And we have 6 doubles with queen size beds and 10 singles. So I'm going to show you one of each. 201 is our standard queen size room. What I want to talk about in the guest room is that each room looks like this, similar, but they are different. Each room has different configurations, but the footprint is essentially the same on the 2nd and 3rd floor. So behind here, we have a closet, which when we open, you're going to find a nice Fisher House robe in there that will be provided from Fisher House, Michigan. And we'll have ironing boards, and we'll have a safe in the guest room for our guests. So that will all be in there. And then right around the corner here, we have the bathroom. And this, we're completely ADA compliant. So they have a walk-in shower. Every room you're gonna see this journal. And it's from the Fisher House Foundation, and there's a nice note from Ken Fisher. He's the chairman and CEO of the Fisher House Foundation. And we encourage our guests to write stories in them. So the stories that come out of these journals are invaluable. Fisher House Michigan prints them on Testimonial Tuesdays. So what Ann Arbor does right now, and what I will do when we accept guests, is take all the notes that are in these journals that are each month and send them up to them so they can use them for Testimonial Tuesday.
Oh, that's terrific.
So also, when the book is filled up, we don't put them away. They don't just go sit somewhere on a dusty shelf. We send them back to the Fisher House Foundation, where there's a library of all the stories that veterans and family members have left in these books, so, and active duty service members. So these are very special. We love reading these, and I will be doing the same thing, documenting what we get in these books. And this is one of our bigger rooms. So you'll see, just like in the last room, this is a double. It's a little larger, a little configured a little differently. And we still have space to put another rollaway in here, air mattress if we needed to. So we could, each room should be only lodging 4 individuals, but if we have small children that don't sleep on the beds, we can still put a rollaway in here and they'll have plenty of space to have room.
So what's the sort of the range of the family sizes that you can have? 2 to 5, I think, is there something like that? Or?
Well, technically, guests would only be authorized 1 room. So 4 is the maximum occupancy in each room. However, like I said, maybe smaller children, we might be able to do the 5. So, but ultimately it's 4 per room for fire code. So one of the things that we do as managers, we talk to the Fisher House Foundation about things that we find that they do in their construction or in their design that maybe could be improved upon. And in the VA system, all of our veterans are aging, and so a lot of our older veterans like to sleep in a recliner, vice sleeping in a bed. And so one of the things that Fisher House Foundation has done has provided us with the recliner. So now we can have that option for those older guests that can't sleep in a bed. They will have a nice recliner to sleep in. The other thing that we did differently here is we have individual controls in each guest suite, so the guest can control their temperature in their guest room according to how they like it. And that is really nice because then we don't have to cart around heaters or fans. So
those are nice little touches, I think.
Yes.
Kind of individualize the experience for each person coming into the rooms.
Right. Yes, sir. And up here, we're on the 3rd floor of the Fisher House. Again, like I stated before, 8 rooms on this floor. 3 are doubles and 5 are singles. And this is unique because we are a 3-story house. We're only the 3rd Fisher House that has 3 stories. Traditionally, the Fisher houses would have 8 rooms on the 1st floor in 2 different wings. But we built up in the city of Detroit, and so all of our rooms are on the 2nd and 3rd floor. That gives us this unique spot that other Fisher houses do not have, and it provides another nice little seating area for our guests, a gaming space where they can play games, and just a nice seating area. And of course, because it's the Christmas season, we get to put another Christmas tree up here. So I'm going to show you another room. It's just a little, like I said, all kind of unique designs. But this room has a special little reading nook in it. And the desk is tucked away back here. So it's just a little different design, but essentially the same homey feel that all of the other guest rooms have. One of the things you're going to see in every Fisher house is this bust of Zach and Elizabeth Fisher and this plaque. That they believe that our greatest national treasure are our military members, our men and women in the service. So that's why they do what they do for us. And this bust is special, not only just because it's Zach and Elizabeth Fisher, but the individual that designed this bust also designed the Iwo Jima War Memorial. Zach is wearing a bomber jacket, you'll see there in this bust, but he didn't serve in the military. He was injured and could not serve in the military, and he wanted to. And this was his way of giving back. He's done so much more than just build Fisher houses. He and Elizabeth built the first 20 some odd houses out of their pocket alone. They also, if you look up here on the stairs, they brought to New York City Harbor the USS Intrepid. The Navy was decommissioning this aircraft carrier, and Zach Fisher bought it for $1 and made it into an aerospace museum. And so it's there in the New York Harbor, and it's really a special thing that he's done.
So Zach never served in the United States military, but he is considered an honorary veteran.
Correct.
Talk a little bit about that?
Yes. So he never served. Like I said, he was injured, but he wanted to do things to serve the men and women. And he's done so many things that he is one of 2 honorary veterans in the world. And do you happen to know who the first one is?
I don't, but I'm thinking maybe Bob Hope might be up there. So.
It is Bob Hope, yes, sir. So Bob Hope and Zach Fisher are the only 2 honorary veterans. And that's why he's wearing that bomber jacket.
I know you've got here on the wall here some of the contributors in helping make this a reality here. Kate, do you talk a little bit about who we have?
I would love to be able to talk about this plaque. You know, it takes a village to build a Fisher House and to support a Fisher House. And this particular plaque is distinctive because it's the largest of any one of the 99 Fisher Houses. So this is a physical symbol of what Detroit thinks about veterans, what Michigan thinks about veteran families. There are corporate donors, there are individual donors. The state American Legion Department came together, all of their Legionnaires across all 83 counties in Michigan, they contributed. There are people that contributed for folks that were lost in service. There's a story behind every single one of these names, and this is only just the beginning. It took thousands and thousands of folks from Michigan to build this beautiful home. And I'm so proud to be a Michigander. I am so proud of the city of Detroit for welcoming Fisher House in such a wonderful way.
You see a cross-reference of many corporate and small donors. I think it goes to a wide swath of the community here in Detroit. And certainly all those folks are, well appraised of helping us get this place where it is right now. Well, thank you for having me here. This has been a great tour, and certainly, although I knew the name and I knew the facilities, it's nice to see one here finally in Detroit, and to see it really in person, be able to come here and see where our family members or veterans are going to be staying, and it's very, very beautiful. So.